The Spruce Trapdoor is the best block in Minecraft, in my opinion. That's very important. This is an opinionated video, of course, so you can disagree with me, because everything to do with building in this game is subjective, and that includes what everyone's favourite block is. Mine personally is the Spruce Trapdoor, and here's why. There are two main reasons why I love this block. One is the obvious in that it looks good, and two is that it's incredibly versatile. You can use it in so many different ways, and I think that mainly comes down to the fact that it's a trapdoor. That may sound like I'm stating the obvious, but if the other trapdoors looked as good as the spruce one, they'd be in the running for my favourite block too. So there are a few properties the trapdoors have that other blocks don't, such as the ability to open and close them, of course, making it into a completely vertical or horizontal block at the click of a mouse. It's also much thinner than most. What you've got here is the true half slab, and no, I don't mean the block on the right, that's just a regular slab, a half block if you will, but the trapdoor is almost half the size of a slab. And yes too, I am guilty of calling slabs half slabs. I don't know why, but for whatever reason it just makes sense in my head. Anyway, what makes having trapdoors this thin very helpful is that you can build with them alongside spruce slabs and stairs. This is especially useful when it comes to building roofs. If we take some of the houses from my custom village project as an example, you can see by adding in some trapdoors into the roof outline, it allows us to have a much smoother slope. And that way we don't get blocks only touching on the very tiny corner pixels, which I've never really been a huge fan of. You can see the difference in this roof with and without them. Plus, this helps you steer away from building all of your roofs like this, which isn't a bad thing, it can just get repetitive. The last property of trapdoors which is super helpful is that you can rotate them, which is the case for a lot of blocks in this game, but I think the texture of the Spruce Trapdoor specifically lends itself quite well to this use. Having them all in straight line connects the blocks seamlessly, but if for whatever reason you need to change the direction of them, you can. Fun fact, I've placed down over 7,000 of these in my survival world. That is quite the number, and they've gone into creating multiple builds of mine, a lot of them being used for smaller detailed builds that quite often are just part of a larger build. So let's take a look at some of them, and I can show you the range of this brilliant block. They make some great looking flower beds of all shapes and sizes. You can also use them to make some different chair designs. Speaking of furniture, I like to use them for tables too, as well as beds, and also closets and basically anything that would be built inside of a house. They make some great pillar supports just by adding them at the bottom of the blocks here. Place them alongside a spruce door to make yourself a bigger door. Shelves for holding a variety of items. Put them next to a window and you've got yourself some shutters, surround a campfire with them and you've made a smoking chimney. You can also use them as some sort of barrier, whether it's a half wall to stop you falling down the stairs, or even a full wall to completely separate two different areas. They also make a wonderful block to use in the ceiling of a build as well as the floor. And lastly, although I could go on forever here, they are simply just a great detail block to make a small section of your build look that much more interesting. I mentioned at the start of the video that if the other trapdoors looked as good as the spruce one, they'd be some of my favourite blocks too. But they don't, and they're not. So why is that? Well, for a starter, spruce trapdoors, as we've discussed, go very well with spruce blocks, which I love to use. It's definitely my favourite wood type, and I think a lot of people would agree with me on that one. So that's one of the reasons why I don't use the others as much as my favourite here. Simply because I don't use the other wood types as much, and it's hard to mix them in if they're not the same. That's not always the case though. I use oak wood a lot, nearly as much as spruce, but I don't use the oak trapdoor anywhere near the amount that I use the spruce trapdoor. And that's because, well, as you can see here, there's holes in it, which is great if you're looking to use it for a window, but aside from that, I can't really think of many times that I've used the oak trapdoor for anything else, and that's the same with most of the others. Jungle, Acacia, Crimson, Warped, and even Iron. They all have some sort of space between the pixels. The Birch and Dark Oak, however, do not. Now, the reason I tend not to use these two as much simply comes down to the texture of them. The birch trapdoor is a very unique looking block and therefore cannot be used in many situations, most likely because it's not strictly a connected texture. But hang on a second, the dark oak trapdoor is a connected texture, and I like using dark oak a lot. It's a very nice wood type. I'm also pretty sure it could be used for everything I've said in this video. Why then is the dark oak trapdoor not my favourite block alongside the spruce trapdoor? Well, because it looks like chocolate. That's why. It's the chocolate bar block. And I can't see past that, which is exactly why I altered the texture to look like this in my custom resource pack. So there we go. That is why I think the spruce trapdoor is the best block in Minecraft. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me, and if you disagree with me, I want to know that too. Tell me what your favourite block is. Thank you everybody so much for watching, I really hope you did enjoy, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.